Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Wow, that's so cheesy. But guys, I have basically seen all your comments, I have received your emails, and literally your thousands and thousands of requests. And I'm basically here to deliver. I am here just for you. But guys, if you don't know me, my name is Samuel Dada, and I'm a PhD student at Cambridge University, in the most amazing college, enjoying my research in the best lab ever, and I want the same for you. So I have decided to basically create a series of videos essentially taking you through the whole graduate or postgraduate application process, from writing your CV to sending that all-important email to a potential supervisor that you want to work with, to the interview process. I am no expert by any means, but I am basically going to use my experience of what I have learned to essentially help you. So we've got this, we can do this, so let's go! Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Just before we get straight down to business, because we do want to get straight down to business, I just want to remind you guys to please subscribe to my channel, push that notification bell to be reminded of any content I release, give me a thumbs up, press that like button, comment down below if there's anything you want to see some more of on my channel, and also you can follow me on Instagram to keep up to date with what I get up to on a day-to-day basis as a PhD student at Cambridge University. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So guys, this video is gonna be about me essentially reviewing the personal statement that got me onto a PhD scholarship program at Cambridge University. Honestly, I haven't read this personal statement in ages, but before we get started into reviewing my personal statement that obviously got me into Cambridge, but actually it was kind of a generic personal statement. Well, it wasn't generic, but there were always things that I kind of changed and, you know, tweaked a bit for different programs I was applying for, and different universities or institutions I was applying for. But essentially this, I'm going to basically be giving you kind of the baseline of everything that I kind of included in most personal statements. Essentially, I mean, sometimes some personal statements are kind of limited to, or have a word limit, or they're kind of broken down into like maybe different parts that you have to answer. So it's very important for you to have the key ingredients to make the personal statement all the time, so you can always tweak things to kind of adapt it for a certain application that you're applying for. So in general, you always want to start your personal statement by obviously introducing yourself in general. Start with something quite catchy and quite engaging, because the application process is very rigorous and they are reading so many different applicants you know, personal statements, so you need to ensure that yours is very catchy and not generic and not over the top. Like, I have always wanted to be a PhD holder from the age of 4. No, you don't want to do that because that's not true at all. But you want something that's quite catchy and something that, you know, maybe they can relate to, or they can read and be maybe inspired by, or just something very, you know, heartfelt by you, essentially, that has driven you to essentially want to do this. Or I'm so sorry for my lighting, it's just turned off. Okay, we are back in the game. Sorry for that. So essentially, like I was saying, it's just very important for you to write something that is not so generic and it's very heartfelt from you and then comes from the heart, essentially, to start off. But make sure it's catchy and engaging. And the first paragraph, you always want to just delve straight into it, straight into the business. What are your interests? That's what you want to start with. You want them to understand what you're all about and what you're interested in, essentially. So you need to always start with that. And I feel like sometimes people do beat around the bushes a bit with the introduction. They want to know what your interests are, and maybe whether it kind of aligns with the program straight away, so they know whether to carry on reading. If you don't do that and they read, the first paragraph and it's all waffly, even if your interests are aligned, they might not even bother to kind of read on, because it's like, okay, this is just taking too long. So you need to always just go straight into it, say what you're about straight away, and then write your interest straight away, so they know what you're kind of all about. And then the next paragraph, you could go on to kind of discussing about your research experience, what drives you, what experience do you have, how is it going to be able to aid you in maybe doing a PhD essentially. And then you can go on to maybe writing a little bit about extra bits that would help you out, and then just concluding with why you essentially want to do a PhD and what implications this will have in the future, or your career kind of goals and aspirations and stuff. They want to know all about that. But also, one thing I have missed is that in between that, I think it's always very important for you to ensure that you have something that is exactly tailored to the program you're applying for, or whether it's the project you're applying for, essentially, where you specifically talk about that project, or talk about the program and what importance this program will essentially have for you. I think it's such an important thing to do, because sometimes it's very easy to just keep giving generic personal statements to every single place and not put in the effort to change them. But I remember the year I was successful was when I took that time and that effort to ensure that I understood what that program was about, what it stood for, and then ensured that my PhD personal statement was actually tailored to that program. And they could tell from that, because they could read the sections and say, he has done his research and he knows what he's talking about, and he knows what he wants to gain essentially out of this program, so he's written exactly just that. So I think it's so important to ensure that it's tailored to the program or the project that you're applying for. So like I said, I am going to basically review my PhD personal statement, which I kind of submitted, and it was very successful. Like I said, it's just going to be a generic one, which I actually submitted for Cambridge, and I got in. Obviously, I'm doing my PhD in Cambridge right now. So yeah, let's head on to review it. So I think you should be able to see my screen now. So yeah, so as you can see, I'm just gonna basically read it and just kind of criticize it and review it. We're all about, you always need to review, things that you've done, because that's the only way that you're gonna improve. So yeah, let's review this personal statement. So having grown up in a family where chronic illnesses are prevalent, I became interested in the ability of disease to negatively impact people's quality of life and the capacity of current biological treatments to sustain long life health. So that was my starting statement, and I felt like it's definitely very engaging. And there's one thing that probably people don't really notice about this, was that this bit where I talk about sustaining long life health basically directly correlates to the program that I was essentially applying for at Cambridge, which was the BBSRC DTP program. So that directly correlates to the program, because they're not all about curing cancer or this. They're all about finding new treatments and developing methods of discovering and enhancing long life human health, essentially. So that's the reason why I kind of did that, and also that's something that I am very much interested about. I want to use different model organisms and stuff to basically understand. I am not working in like more of a clinical setting. All I just want to do is basically research into maybe treatments or methods to basically improve long life health, and that's something I've been doing for a long time. Hence I've been working with C. elegans as a model system. So yeah, let's go on. This has consequently heightened my inquisitiveness in trying to understand the intricate interactions between diet, nutrition, genetics, and pharmacology in influencing the status of human health and physiology through the experimental and computational approaches. So over the years, I've progressively developed an avid interest and experience in the application of model organisms such as rodents and nematodes to aid in explaining the source of inter-individual variabilities that affects drug efficacy in humans. Additionally, I've gained a new profound fascination for the role of the gut microbiota in the regulation of host health, and how the employment of high-throughput genomic chemical approaches combined with metabolomics can shed light on host microbe interactions. So, as you can see, I basically gone in, basically telling you about my interests and what I'm interested in, highlighted that kind of a little bit that I have kind of worked with, mice or rodents and C. elegans, just a glimpse of, okay, this is kind of my experience, and I am kind of using this experience to draw more knowledge, and this has kind of shaped my overall interest, essentially, because your interests are shaped by your experiences, essentially, because you want to know more and you want to find out more. It's almost like opening, the door and opening more doors and then finding out more and more and more. So this is kind of, I feel like this paragraph was very strong and very good, and I remember I did receive quite a lot of good feedback from this from I think I went to an interview at UCL. Yeah, one of my UCL interviews said they really loved my opening paragraph, and I really don't know how long I spent working on this, but I thought I was able to convey everything that I'm all about actually in this paragraph. So in the next paragraph, I have basically started with the field of life sciences continuously evolving with a diverse range of exciting but challenging career opportunities. My current role as a research technician / assistant at the LMS Imperial London involves the use of molecular biology. So this is the paragraph, or the whole paragraph. I know it looks broken down, but actually there are things that are, I think, confidential that I've kind of blocked out, so I didn't want to reveal things in there. But it's very basically just essentially talking about all my research experiences and all the projects I've been involved in. And this is a paragraph I really don't really like at all. I remember keeping the same kind of pattern, kind of, okay, what have I done, what my role was, where it was, and then what I've done in general, and then my project, and then maybe what my project is, what I found out so far. And I think I kept it kind of similar. Like if I go into like the Kingston one, when I was at Kingston, I was also opportunity to carry out an incredibly rewarding research project during my BSc degree at Kingston University, which explored the inhibitory properties of rosemary on activity of acetylcholine extrace extracted from rat brain, with the desire of this culinary herb being potentially employed as a dietary strategy in slowing down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. This project required me to perform enzymatic assays. So just basically, I just felt like in this whole paragraph in general, I was just listing and listing and listing, and that is very boring and tiresome to read. And this is an approach I don't want you guys to take. I don't want you guys to take this approach whatsoever. I want you guys to essentially put in everything that you've learned collectively and kind of summarize it, in a way that flows, in a manner that flows. Basically, don't make this so long, because this is very long and chunky. Also, you don't want it to be this long, because it's actually so boring. Collected, they can already see from your CV, what have you done, this and blah, blah, blah. You don't need to put every single thing, which is what I did. I was like, at Imperial, at UCL, at Kingston, this is what I've done. No, don't. Summarize everything that you've learned in general together, and just make it very holistic and make it very succinct. So simplify it, and that will make it so much better. I don't really like this paragraph, and I think this is a paragraph I don't like. Also, I don't like the way I started it because it's so disjointed from the other statements I kind of wrote, which is, like the field of lifestyle. Yes, of course it is, but it feels like just an empty statement. Like, I just decided to just throw it out of thin air and just put it in there. So this is like a paragraph I really don't like. I think I could have honed in collectively on everything together like I did in the introduction. Because essentially all these projects I've done kind of have a way of connecting with each other in a way, you know, or kind of simplifying it, not making it so jumpy and not making it so sectioned, because this seems very sectioned at Imperial, at UCL, at Kingston. You could just collectively be like, oh, at UCL I was able to employ, you know, the use of, you know, phenomic libraries to kind of explore like interdisciplinary variabilities, and this was actually enhanced by my experience at Kingston, where I was able to use blah blah blah, or, you know, model organisms like rat brain to extract, you know, acetylcholine, kind of merge everything together and just make it kind of a nice story, you know, rather than just blah 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 blah. So I don't really like that statement. But if we go on to the next paragraph, I kind of summarize everything, and this is something I could have incorporated into that paragraph in general. So it says, this could have actually been maybe the start of my second paragraph. It was that having conducted a range of individual interdisciplinary research projects has enabled me to develop transferable scientific skills to independently and confidently organize, plan, and conduct experiments safely in any given lab. Thus far, my research experience have provided me with the opportunity to collaborate and work with fellows and academics from different backgrounds with a diverse range of skills. I believe my solid background and experience possessing several techniques relating to molecular biology, cell biology, genetics, blah blah blah, will be of great benefit to me in every settings. I think I remember this paragraph. I really liked it, but I think in some applications I did kind of embed it in the second paragraph and removed my Kingston experience from that second paragraph and made it just kind of to round everything up as a collective. Because in general, it does feel like a throwaway kind of paragraph, one of those paragraphs that you write just to kind of hone in on everything, but it can be a throwaway statement, essentially. So this is how I kind of rounded up everything, kind of talking about my goals and aspiration and things I wanted to do. Obviously, at that time, I hadn't even started my PhD at all, so it was very like kind of different, kind of saying what I wanted to do, and I feel like everything is kind of being fulfilled at the moment. It says, I started off with saying, I aspire to complete a doctoral degree program with goals of pursuing a career in academia and science communication, and so I'm a firm believer in educating and enlightening the general public about advances in the biological field, which is something I'm actually kind of doing already, being able to work with, you know, the Salters Institute and several institutes at delivering engagement like videos about, you know, scientific topics. So it's quite nice to see that every like things that I already kind of set out to do myself is kind of coming into fruition. Then I also said, you know, things about being a BAME and the lack of it, and one day I want to obviously develop an enrichment program for myself, for BAME students, and you know, relatable role models and stuff like that. So it's just kind of honing in and, you know, my career exploration and what kind of drives me, so people can already see, you know, this is what motivates this guy to want to do a PhD, this is what drives him, apart from science in general. So yeah, that's generally like a very good statement, I think. That was a very strong you know, paragraph to end with, and I know that a lot of my interviews, they kind of touched upon it a lot, which I was very happy with, and it just made me more relatable, and I'm so happy that also like things I already kind of stated out there are also coming to fruition. I'm able to actually achieve those things and those goals. In general, like, this is all good, like I said, but also you want to incorporate things about the program that you're applying for in a paragraph in general. I've kind of omitted that from here because I was applying for the BBSRC and I had a paragraph where I did speak about it, but I haven't included it here because I feel like yeah, it's something quite personal to me, so I don't want to like put it all out there, essentially. So anyone who wants access to my personal statement, in which got me to Cambridge University, I'll put the link in the description down below, and I will be able to share it with you upon request. But yeah, essentially my personal statement, I thought it was quite good in general, but obviously, like I said, the middle paragraph I wasn't so happy with reading back on it right now. But guys, in general, I have created a video for CV, and like I said, with a CV, you want to make it quite eye-catchy and quite, you know, dynamic in general. So sometimes you can actually ensure that the templates that you're using for your CV, you can get a template for also your resume that you can adapt to your personal statement. For example, like this is my CV currently that I've done, and then this is a way of me adapting maybe a personal statement or a cover letter to match that CV, and I think that would just make everything just collectively very strong and together. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please remember to subscribe, press that notification button, like it if you enjoyed the content, comment down below anything you want to see some more of, if you have any general comments or advice that you would like to ask from me. And guys, please make sure you keep on dreaming big and keep on being inspired, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and stay blessed.